Hi guys, and welcome to this tutorial. And in this tutorial I'll be teaching you how to build a Xylophone app. Before we get into it, if you're new to this channel, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I create tutorials on programming, networking and tech related stuff. So I got this idea from Angela Yu Udemy course on Flutter, where she created a Xylophone mobile app. So I decided to do same for the web using web technology such as HTML, CSS and pure vanilla JavaScript, no framework. Okay, so before we get into it, let me just demo the app that we're going to create. Okay, you can see over here, this is the app. So if I press A, S, D, F, G to give me the different keys of the Xylophone. Can we see that? And also if I click on it as well, it's gonna give me the different keys. So this is what I'm going to develop. Okay, so let's get right into it. So let me fire up my editor. So I already have a oops, what is that? Let me increase this a little bit. Okay, I hope you can see it now properly. Yeah, perfect. So now I already have a starter file. So if you want to get a starter file and follow along with me, just go to the GitHub repo link down below. I'll share to you guys. I don't want to create that because it's kind of simple. So I'm just going to explain everything from here. So same old. So what we need here, we just created a buttons, like all the buttons, all 7 buttons, and we put in like your key A, S, D, F, G, H, and like that. And we are creating our own attribute called the data. Now this data is an attribute or a custom attribute by HTML that allows us to create our own attributes. So what we need to do is just to put data, then the hyphen, then whatever we want to call it. We can call it key code, whatever attribute you want to call it. So I just call it key to represent the key we're pressing on, like we're pressing down on AS on our keyboard. So these are the different keys. I'll give you the class of red, orange, yellow, and all these classes here are for the backgrounds, like the CSS backgrounds. So now this is the audio, like the HTML audio for each of the keys. So when you press on key A, it should play the note 1, like this note 1. If you press on key S, it should play note 2, just like that. So when we press on any of this button, it should play any of these audios for us, right? So now we link to our JavaScript js/app.js. So let me walk you through the CSS. Okay, now this is CSS. We just did a little bit of CSS reset, right? Just clear the margin and padding. Then I gave the body and the HTML a height of 100 viewport height, like the viewport height, the height of the window, like the viewport, sorry, I say window. Yeah, we also have viewport window, but I'm using viewport height, the height of the viewport, that's what we want. Then we can see different class, red, orange, yellow, stuff like that till we get to purple. Now the notes, this is the parent element that houses the button. Now this button, we just give it a display of flex, and by default the flex direction is row, but I wanted it to be column because I'm doing mobile first responsive design. So if you look at it here, let me drag this, we can see like this. Initially the flex is column, like the flex direction is in column because I'm using mobile first design. So I give it a height of 100 to fill the height. Then we have the button, I give a flex of 1, should be equal height and width. And I change the cursor to pointer so that we can see the pointer right here. And I remove the border, the outline, the font side, and I give it a little bit of text shadow. I don't know if you can see the text shadow over here. A little bit of text shadow. Right. Then when we get to a medium screen, like when we get to a screen like wider than 600 pixel, then we want the flex direction to be row. So see, right, like that. Flex box is just nice. Okay, now that's for the CSS. So now what we need to do now is to get into the JavaScript, like to make this work. So when we click on any of this button, we want to play the sound that are attached to it. Okay, so now what we need to do is to create we already created it already, ages, so this is it. So let's just test it. Let's just test if it's working. So console.log hello So let me go to my console down here to see if it's working. Okay, perfect, it's working. So I can increase the console too so you can see it. So don't mind this error. This error sometimes is coming from live server. I'm using live server from VS Code. That enables me to, like, when I hit the save button, it reloads my HTML and CSS for me. Okay, so now, so let's get started with JavaScript. So what we need to do now is to use the window object. Like, we want to listen to the event, the key down. So when we press on any of these key, we want to listen to the event. So now we want to go to the window now and say add event listener, and I'll say key down. Like, when we press the key, any of this key on the page, we want to listen for that key. So now we're going to use a callback function and passing in the fat arrow function down here, and I'll say console.log e. Let's see if it's working, and save. We don't need it. So now when I try to press any button, you can see the keys, right? For Christ's sake, I don't want it to come to that place. I want it to be here. So can we see? Yeah, perfect. Can we see the keys, right? So we can see that we have codes. This code key S, and we have key just S, and the key code 83. Then we also have which also. Normally before we're supposed to use key code or which, but key code and or which are like deprecated in JavaScript now. They're no longer in use. If you try that out and then start to see which, is going to see it's telling us on the line that guy is deprecated. So what we're going to use is key, right? To know the particular key we just pressed on. So now let's do that again and see. So if I press it, why is it always doing that? That's not what I want to see. Yeah, okay. Can we see? So any of the key that we press down are getting back the keys, right? Perfect. So now what we want to do that, okay, so when we press on that key, we want to get the audio, like we want to play the audio attached to that key, which is this A, S, D, F, G, H. Like when we press on any of this key, we want to play the notes attached to them. So now how we're going to do that is we need to select the audio. So say console cost like the notes and document.query selector, right? So we're going to use attribute selector here. So the attribute selector, we're going to use template string also. So audio, and we're trying to select the data attribute, data.key and equals to. So we have to put in the double quotes now. So template string. So now we want to get in the key, e.key, right? Perfect. So now let's see if it's going to work. So console.log notes, as said, console.log notes. Let's see if this is gonna work. So now can we see the different ones? But when we press the one that's wrong, it's giving us null. So we have to check that. So now we'll say if no notes, if is equals to null, if no notes, we want to return from this function. So now when we try to do that again, you know why this thing is coming up. Sorry about that, guys. So wait, let me quickly IDM. I usually use IDM to download stuff easily. So I don't know why let me just run it back. Okay, so let's continue. So we can see right here the keys. So if I'm pressing the wrong key now, it's not going to console log it out because we're returning from the statement. Perfect. So now what we want to do, we want to play the note. So say note.play. Right, so hit save. Now let's try it again. So when we press, can we hear the notes? Right, but if you notice, if I press it, you have to wait. See, no, I don't want that. Like, I want when I press the key, it should concurrently keep playing it for me. But what is happening is when we press the key, like when we press the key down, it's playing the note. So when we try to press it again, like we're saying it should play again, but it's already playing. Like the note is already on play, like it's playing. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to say to play again, we're trying to press the play button, which is already playing, so it's not going to do that. So what we want to do is that when we press on the key, we want to make the current time equals to 0. So yeah, I'll say note.current time equals to 0. So anytime we click on it, it should just reset the time. So when we try to press again, so can we see? So when we press on it to reset the time, so reset the time, play again, reset the time, play again. Perfect. So our keys are working perfectly. So now what we need to do next is when we click on the buttons, like when we click on them, we want to play the note. So how we're going to do that is we're going to select the parent element that houses the button. We're going to use what we call event delegation. So yeah, I'll say const UI, and I'll call it what's it called, notes, or the notes document, if I can spell, query selector, and that should be notes, right? So now in the note, I'll say note UI notes dot add event listener, and I'm going to listen for the click. And here now I can say console.log e.target. Let's see the targets, right? So when we click on it, we're getting the target, we're getting this button, right? But we need to know which button that we'll click on. So we're going to use what they call event delegation. So here now, and I say if the e.target.parent element.id is equals to notes. Like if we click on this, click on any of this element down here, if the parent element is equals to this ID of notes, if equals to this one, then it's perfect and we can continue. So now if I say console.log hello, let's see. So when I try to press it now, yeah, perfect, we're getting it. So what we need to do now is to play the notes, but see here we're doing the same thing. Like if we copy this one now and paste it here, we're like repeating ourselves. So what we need to do now, we need to look for a way not to repeat ourselves. There's a concept in programming called dry. Don't repeat yourself. So look for a way to refer to your code and not to repeat yourself. So I'm going to create a function and I'll say play notes, right? So in this play notes, I'll copy this guy here. I'll copy the guy, copy everything, and I'll pass in the argument key, the parameter key. Then what we need to do is just to remove everything down here and say play notes, and I'll say e.key. Perfect. So let's see if that one's gonna work. So it's working. So now let's do the same for the click. So now for the click, we are actually targeting it. So we say console.log e.target, right? .data. So I'm trying to get to this data set, So let's data set. So let's see it. When I click on it, we're getting it key. So it's an object SADF. Can we see that the data set that we have? So that's why you need to use data. Like if you're trying to create your own custom attribute, because JavaScript has a way for you to get that. So now you can just say .key. Key here, perfect. So when we click on it, you can see all the different keys, right? So now what we need to do now is to pass these keys to the play note. Easy. So what we're gonna do now is cut this out, and I'll say play note, call the function, and I'll pass it in here and try to save it. And now you can see when we click on it, we're getting everything perfect. So now we've built the app successfully. So can we see? Let me play something for you guys. Okay, so you guys know what this is called. It's Mary has a little lamp. Yeah, so I just have to play that for you guys. So now that comes to the end of the video, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you really got something new from this tutorial, and please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share with friends and families. If you know a person that are going to like benefit from this video, well, why not share it to them? And that's it, guys. So before I go, I would love you to challenge yourself, because my channel is all about challenges. So I would love you to add the 8th note. If you look at this thing properly, if you're a musician, you will know that the octave is not here, the other octave is just here, just 7 notes. Maybe go look for the 8th note and add it to this guy easily. sure, you could also build your own. If you want to build a piano, just go get the notes, just go get the sounds from online. Just Google it, just Google it and just be like, okay, keyboard sounds or piano sound, like the keys, just Google it and you can create your own piano. Sure. And also drum, if you want to create your own drum too, just be creative, just do stuff and just leave it in the comment section down below. I'll be seeing everything, and sure, and I'll be able to also demo your app if you're good. Like if your app is good, if you really do something nice, I'm going to also demo it in my next tutorial. Okay, so that's it guys, and see you in the next one, and keep coding.